Welcome, family, to Black Woman's Renaissance, a podcast celebrating women of color who are accomplishing tasks that are believed impossible for us in spite of walls built to keep us out. Today, we are marching boldly in our purpose. So let's march on, sisters. I am your host, Dr. Violet T. Adams, educator, speaker, writer, artist, all things woman, and creator of Black Woman's Renaissance. Today, I welcome my fabulous, fantabulous co-host, educator, author, publisher, and editor-in-chief of Vision and Purpose Lifestyle Magazine, Dr. Sharon H. Porter. Introduce yourself, Sharon.
Absolutely. Thank you, Dr. Adams. I am so excited to be here. I am a lifelong educator, almost 30 years. I'm currently an elementary school principal in the Washington, D.C. metropolitan area. I'm CEO of Perfect Time SHP Book Publishing and owner and editor-in-chief of Vision and Purpose Lifestyle Magazine, which is a bi-monthly print and digital publication.
Awesome. Well, welcome again. We have a fabulous show for you all today. And ladies, today is a special day. Why? Because it is our 10th episode. And I am extremely excited to have a very, very special guest with us today. We will be interviewing a special woman. Black Woman's Renaissance will honor Miss Crystal Kelly. Crystal is, among other things, an advocate for inspiration and change. This multi-talented woman is the founder of I Am Beautiful Awards that honors formerly abused women who are now victorious. She's a talented health and welfare consultant, a certified life coach, a licensed life and health insurance agent, and is currently working as a licensed real estate agent. Crystal directed the face-to-face mentoring program for junior and high school seniors in Norfolk, Virginia. She's also a motivational speaker, has written several articles for Who Not magazine published by McKell Media in North Carolina, and is the founder of Make It Happen Entertainment, where she launched her own recurring event, Poetic Expressions Open Mic Night. This event opened the door for local musicians and poets to positively express themselves through the arts. She currently, y'all, resides in Metro Atlanta, and has recently written a book entitled I Am Purposefully Made. Crystal Kelly, the woman with two first names, is passionate about making a difference in others' lives. She once said, I love to be involved and put action towards change. Not just speak on it, you have to move on it. Crystal's motto is, your current situation does not define final destination. This is the philosophy Crystal lives by. And this is why we honor the talented, beautiful, and compassionate Crystal Kelly as our Black Woman of Renaissance. Woo! Yes, welcome, Crystal, to our show tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for a great introduction.
Awesome. Well, let's get right into the interview. And we're going to start with keeping it real.
Okay.
As most women we have featured on the show, you, at a young age, have accomplished a lot, Crystal. What would you say were the major challenges out of everything that you've done that you had to overcome?
Um, I think for the most part, the major challenges has always been finding resources, right? And finding support. I've always had an ambition and desire to do certain things, but never really the know-how on, how to make that happen or how to successfully create something. I'm a person that's like, oh, okay, I see it, I want to do it, let's just do it. So I go from 0 to 100 really fast because I'm that creative thinker. But the steps in between, and I'm a continuous learner, but the steps in between didn't always come easy. So what I mean by resources is when reaching out to certain people or things, it unfortunately it's not as easy as you would imagine getting the help or the resources that you need to succeed. So creating those pathways.
It's even harder for us as Black and women to obtain those resources.
Right. So that is the catalyst for what made me start Power of Your Purse, which is my business that I have now, but I'm doing business as Crystal Kelly LLC. But Power of Your Purse was brought together for a network of women to come together to help each other, professionally and personally. We can start talking to each other. And I always state, like in a workshop that I'm doing, I'm not asking, people to give away their secret sauce or anything like that. But, as you learn and as you have gotten help when you were starting out, let's reach back and help someone else get their steps or ask the questions instead of wasting time recreating the wheel.
Yes.
Awesome. You are absolutely right. And we are like in a kindred spirits in going from 0 to 60, boo. Head first into the work. I got the idea, darn it. Let's do it.
Figure it out later how to do it,
right? Right. And that's where Make It Happen came from. Actually, Make It Happen is because I was known for just making things happen. Like, where did you? And people would be like, just give it to Crystal, she'll make it happen. So I was just like,
yeah, that's how I started this podcast. I just woke up one day and said, Antoine, my son, who's a musician, boo, help me with this podcast. I'm coming over. What?
I love it. So Crystal, I have known you for many, many years, and I know that you've gone through a few life-changing events. You unfortunately lost your mom a few years back, whom you were a dedicated caregiver. You relocated from Hartford to Atlanta, and you also added and changed professions. You're now taking on the real estate industry. Yeah. Can you share how you've managed to handle all of these changes with such grace?
Grace.
I think, so I'm going to be very transparent. I've handled it with a lot of tear shed, but by the grace of God, honestly, it's just been a step after the other to keep moving. And that is, as you stated in my intro, kind of what I live by. Like, your current situation does not define your final destination. So for me, it's imperative to keep moving. It's imperative for me to, don't be stagnant. And for me, that was so important, even when I lost my mom 2 years ago. So that is just an experience that, it was just life-changing for me, because a lot of people, they say like, oh, I know what you're going through, but unless you've really gone through it, you really don't. Because as a only child to a single parent, you kind of lose yourself a little bit. And like, who am I now? I'm not someone's daughter, it's weird. It plays with your mind. And I think for me, if I was to stay stagnant, even in the location that I was, Hartford, Connecticut, which is hometown, it's where family is. It was important for me because I had goals set before me already. So having those goals was important. And for me to keep pushing and keep moving towards them was the motivation that I needed. And I'm a mom, and I'm a single mom. And it was important for me to demonstrate not only strength, but perseverance to him as a young boy growing to be a young man. Life happens, right? And we can't control it. We can't stop death. It's the only thing that's guaranteed. So it was important for me to show him, in a time of weakness, how to push forward, how to keep moving, and just how to persevere.
Wow, that's so important. Thank you for that.
Awesome. And to keep going and to persevere, once again, is what we do as women. And I'm still going to say Black women, we still are at the top of that persevering. Nobody's laying coats down over the mud for us. Nobody's saying, oh, let me take you by the hand. No, they're saying, sister, get out there and get it done. Put that baby on your back and keep it moving. And we do that. So with that in mind, Crystal, what would you say? And you have so many talents. Even in the show, you mentioned two things you didn't even tell me to put on your bio. What in the world? Like, more? I got to go back and edit this. Which would be your superhero power?
Prayer. I'm trying to think of like the more educated, I guess, response, but no, that just really it is what it is. And prayer and supplication, the word says that, and supplication is action. It's putting forth, your prayer and walking out on faith, and faith is action. And just, coming from where I come from, like I mentioned, I'm from Hartford, Connecticut. And so I was raised on what we call Albany Avenue and Edgewood Street, and those from Hartford can attest. They know that's not the very best parts of town and city, and me being raised by a single mom, an older single mom at that, it was a true roadmap and blueprint for resiliency and how to persevere. So for me, I think learning that at an early age, being a latchkey kid and having to take on a lot of responsibility at a young age, gave me the motivation that I needed as an adult to accomplish what I've accomplished. I've never been satisfied with one thing. Like I've always had a desire to do more or get involved, or if I didn't see something, create it. My mom used to always say to me, like people would be like, oh, you're spoiled. And, and I'm like, she was like, yeah, you're spoiled, but you're not a spoiled brat. There's a difference. She taught me to work for everything that you get. There's nothing in this world that you can't get or can't have, but you need to work for it. So when people say that to me, I'm like, it's okay to be spoiled, because you should get the things you want. It's work for it and you can get it. So I think for me, that's been one of the most important just avenues in my life and things to live by, is just continuing to press forward, living by faith and prayer, and really putting action to your goals. You can't just set a goal and then sit back and and wait for it to happen. You need to move. You need to make it happen. You need to put forth the work in order to make that happen. And you're gonna have hard times, and you're gonna be weak, and you're gonna think everybody is against you or nobody supports you, and you're gonna have those moments where you're gonna have a lot of no's. I've acted in plays and gone out when I used to live in California, gone out for different auditions. There are a lot of no's out there, but if you don't have a strong support system or belief system, life will swallow you up. So for me, thankfully, I have a strong faith-based system, and I just strongly believe in the power of prayer and supplication.
I love that. Prayer is your superpower.
Prayer and supplication.
I love it.
Yes.
So, Crystal, I know your heart is your son, Cam. You are intentional about making sure he's a productive member of society. You have him in so many different activities, like the Youth Jazz Orchestra. He's active in our church, and just an all-around great young man. Can you talk about the importance of investing in his presence as well as his future?
Awesome.
Oh, absolutely. You hit on my favorite subject.
Keep on talking, girl.
Yes, that is my whole heartbeat. And so the importance on investing in his present is so important to me because, as moms, we have these miracles, these little babies that we're responsible for, these little balls of clay, right? Just as, and I, again, I'm very faith-based, so, I don't want to offend anyone, but I do use God a lot in my examples because I feel like it's important to recognize everything he's done for me. But we started off as just, like this ball of clay that he's molded. And for a mom, I think that we have that similar responsibility because it's important for us to mold these little balls of clay into productive and well-received, educated young people so that they have a good foundation to be great adults, right? So especially for me, being a single mother raising a young man, and I remind him constantly, I've never been a man, I'm never going to be a man, so I can't teach you how to be a man, but I can teach you how to be a great person and how to make good decisions. And, just recognize the right from wrong, the foundation, right? Respect and a moral compass and education. So our motto, we have two actually. We collect all the keys to unlock all the doors for any possibility. We live by that. And our second motto, we chant all the time. We live, eat, and breathe scholarship. So wow. And so he knows that whatever I'm inputting into him today, I'm helping him get those keys. I'm helping him collect keys so that he can unlock the doors. He started off with locks, being just a Black male born into today's society, right? So when he graduates, I want him to have as many keys as he can to unlock so many doors because they're already stacked against him.
Awesome. You know what you are speaking now is what I call a legacy of success. I maybe you ladies, and you talked about your humble upbringing. I am in a place of legacy of survival. That was my driving force. Everything I did, every move I made, every plan I made, it was out of a legacy of survival. And it brought me to this place of perpetual attempt at success. And I won't say I'm at a place of success because success is a destination, not a place. I gave myself a legacy of survival. But my children, your son, Sharon's children, we have given them a legacy not of survival, but a legacy of success because they see no longer survival in us. They see success in us. And therefore, what they're seeing is what they strive for. And what they strive for is success. They don't have to struggle as hard as we had to struggle for that evasive success that we all must conquer or attempt to conquer. And I discovered the difference between a legacy of survival and a legacy of success. I teach everyone and I mentor everyone with the idea of legacy of success. And that's what you are giving to your son right now.
Mm.
Most definitely. I met you, Crystal, through Sharon. And it was because of being nominated for the I Am Beautiful Survivors Award. Ladies, can we be a little frank and talk a little bit about domestic violence and the origin of your award, Crystal?
Yes. So the I Am Beautiful Survivors Award Gala is very near and dear to me. As working with young adult women, I was sitting around and I was having a conversation with a couple of young women, and they range from the ages of 17 to 33 at the time. There were about 6 of them. And we just got into a very, candid conversation. And one of the young women confided into the group, and she made the statement kind of off to the side, and she was just like, well, not every situation is like that. And we got into a deeper conversation, and I found out later in the conversation, she had been through a domestic violence situation. And looking at where she was in her life then, she was mid-20s. She was, out of the situation, but not comfortable in speaking on it. And I confided to her in that moment. It's not something that I've ever gone around and just wore on my chest like, oh, I'm a survivor or anything. I just never felt the need to really discuss it. But in that moment, I did. And with speaking with her, 3 other women in that circle, it was just a intimate circle. We ended up really, having a breakdown moment. But in that circle, 3 other women, confessed that they have been in. It was really put on my heart. I'm like, this is more common than not. And that is the heartbreaking reality of it all. And it's not just your typical picture of a married woman that's trapped in a marriage that's being physically beat. We have women of all ages that have been molested, that have been emotionally or physically abused, mentally abused. And in that conversation, again, going back to, I'm the person that goes from 0 to 100 because I want to make a difference, right? So I want to make something happen. And that's what it became like. We need to start talking about this more. And we need to raise awareness that your sister next to you, she may have gone through the same thing. And it's okay to wear your scars, right? And that's where I came up with it, because a lot of us are wearing scars that we're like not aware of externally, but internally. And that mantra in your head gets to repeating like, you're ugly because of your scar. No, your scars are beautiful. You have a story to tell. You survived that. You came through it, and you are a motivation and encouragement to somebody else. You do have beauty from ashes. Your scars are beautiful. And I'm huge on affirmation. So that's where it came from. Like, what originally was you are beautiful, because I really wanted to pour into other women to remind them that you are beautiful. And after the release of my latest book, I Am Purposely Made, I wanted to just really push the message and have women really look at themselves and remind themselves, you're not ugly because of these scars. Look where you have come from. Look what you have accomplished. And say to yourself and say to other people, no, I am beautiful, inside and out. And I have a story to tell. I have a triumph story to tell. My gala concentrates on the triumph, not the tragedy, because
Mm.
we all have it, right? But
Mhm.
I really want to highlight the tragedy. I mean, the triumph that it took to overcome, get through, and then be an advocate and a voice for other people.
Awesome. Awesome. I I am just so thankful to be a part of that ideology because for years I withheld the fact that I was an abused woman. And not only did I go through abuse as a wife, I was abused as a young girl, physically and sexually. I grew up from that sexual abuse into a relationship that was all of the abuses you can check off: financial, emotional, physical, sexual, all of those abuses. And what was troubling about my situation for me is that my mother was badly physically abused as well as controlled during the 60s, 70s. And the abuse that I saw her go through, the physical abuse, was very traumatic. And I didn't go through that physical abuse. I wasn't being abused. So I even myself refused to accept the fact that I was being abused. And one day, 40 years old, I woke up and said, no longer. I'm done. But I wanted to keep that ideal family. I was the only one who, in my family, I could say, "Hey, I'm married. I have my children. I had children after I was married. No baby daddy, et cetera, et cetera." That was a big deal for me. But I had to let that go because what my children were seeing. Remember that legacy I was talking about, teaching them. That was the wrong legacy I wanted them to see. And you're right, the pain from that propelled me into all of these other wonderful things that God has blessed me with, that He put me through those things to make me stronger and to lift me up, to lift up other women such as you, such as Sharon. We're sitting here now victorious on a platform that is immeasurable in reach. And how many other women? How many other women are reached by this conversation alone? We are victorious.
Beautiful, beautiful. Oh my goodness. Crystal, so you were a part of the very first Women Who Lead anthology. First of all, thank you.
Tell us about that anthology first, Sharon. Go on and tell us. Give us your story.
So it is the very first one featured 20 women from various backgrounds that detailed their journey and how they're leading now. Just a beautiful, we have since done 6. We're on volume 6 now, but she was in the very first one. And her chapter was Life for Me Ain't Been No Crystal Stair.
Love it.
She started out talking about how you were your mother's 7th child, but the only one to survive. And I quote, you said, "I have been fighting my way through life from the very beginning." We published that book in 2018. So now, 4 years later, what would you add to that chapter?
I probably would add, I don't even know why that just made me kind of emotional. It's true though. Yeah. I probably would add, it's just never too late to be great. It's just never too late to be great. And no matter what, no matter your age, no matter your situation, if you are alive and you have a passion or a desire, I don't even care if it's being at home, being a stay-at-home mom, it is never too late to be great. So just live by that mantra. That's what I would add, because every day I wake up, it's another chance for me to do something, forge forward. I'm not where I want to be yet. And I have to remind myself to keep going, keep pushing, and I'm worthy. So I will be there one day.
You
you
are
know.
worthy. You
Yeah,
are worthy. I am worthy. Every
there
man
it
can
is.
say
There it is
Yes.
all
I
day.
am
I'm worthy of it.
worthy.
So it's
Yes.
never too late. Because sometimes,
Yes.
you get older and you start to want to give up on yourself. Like, oh, I should have done this in my 20s or my 30s. But, your timing is your timing.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's what I would add to it.
Wow.
Awesome. Awesome. That is so great because when we think about ourselves as Black women, we have this idea of being humble and sitting back in the cut and letting everybody else go before us.
So true.
That's the way we are.
Yep.
So true.
And how often do we say those words, Sharon? How
Yes.
often do we say those words, Crystal? I, Violet T. Adams, am worthy.
Yes.
And I think if we say those words more and more often, we build life into ourselves. We conquer disease. We conquer depression. We conquer poverty. How about that?
Yes.
The magic of I am worthy.
That's beautiful. Yeah.
It is.
Awesome. So Crystal, do you mind telling us about when and where the I Am Beautiful Survivors Gala will be and a little bit about that?
Yes. So I'm honoring 10 women in total from all over. And it will be held in Forest Park, Georgia, which is a sub-city of Atlanta, on January 22nd. The gala starts at 6 p.m. and it's going to, for certain members of the Forest Park City Council and the Forest Park Mayor Butler will be present to recognize these awesome, amazing honorees. There's going to be speeches, awards, but just a night of celebration. I want everyone to come, men and women, and just cheer on these wonderful honorees for their triumphs, but also to just be present in the room. This is the fourth annual one, and so far, I'm just everly grateful that each one thus far has been just an experience that I can't really capture in words, because there have been survivors in the room. My very first one, it was a young woman that was going through a situation while we were at the gala. And, the sister, like, women just came together. They asked me to stop in the middle of, what was going on, and just help to uplift her, because she was getting harassing calls on her phone at the gala. And she wasn't an honoree or anything, but it was life-changing. Like, they gathered around her, held hands, we gave her resources, said a prayer for her. It was just awesome. The second one, there was a woman there, and she's like, from this event, she just had the courage and family outreach that she built up, and she left that night. Her situation that night, and I got a follow-up message days later, confirmation that she was staying with family, and she was doing okay. So it's really impactful, and that is my overall desire. Even if it's just one person, I don't want it just to be a fancy event that you go to and just, oh, that was nice. No, I really want it to be impactful, and to see, for the women to see themselves as, you know what, I am beautiful.
Oh, awesome. I shared with you earlier that I have invited as one of my guests a child who's in foster care. and has lost both of her parents tragically. She's not even a citizen, actually. And so she's gone from really a very tough situation herself over the last, since she was 5. She's just been going through a lot. She's 17 now, and she's never been to anything like this. We're going shopping for her getup. And she's fought me tooth and nail about going. And I insisted, boo, you're going. And I want her to go because of what you just said, how transformative something like this is. So I can't wait for her to meet you. And I know this is going to be impactful on this young lady, just as impactful as the 3 of us will be on her life. Awesome.
I'm excited.
I'm excited. Now, before I would like to address one last thing, keeping it real. I would like for you to give a tribute to your mother. You've mentioned your mother a couple times tonight, and now is your opportunity to give your mother a tribute.
Oh man. Oh, there I go again. I just got emotional. Why? So I so tribute to my mom. My mom. So I'll do it like this. Dear mom, you are amazing. You were amazing. A woman of titanium. And I looked at you growing up and in your final days as nothing could take you down, or there was no situation too bleak that you couldn't overcome. You were a true woman of faith and resiliency, and you did a heck of a job being a single mom, raising a very tomboy little girl that you didn't quite understand, but to be a awesome mother and to be able to be an independent woman and just want to stand on my own. You did that. And I tribute my mom for just having the greatest heart and love, and for being heavy-handed and very strict and stern, for being there and for teaching me how to fight through life, how to fight for what I want, and how to stand for what I believe in, no matter what, and how to trust in God always, and to always know that He got me. So I love you. I miss you, Mom, forever and ever and a day.
Yes.
That's my tribute to her.
Awesome. Oh my God, Crystal, you're going to have me crying.
I know, right?
Oh my God.
I'm like, I need a tissue.
Oh, that is awesome. And give us your mom's name.
Mary Ellen Kelly.
Okay.
She was a saint in our church, so Saint Mary Ellen Kelly.
Awesome. So we will officially dedicate episode number 10 to Saint Mary Ellen Kelly.
Oh. Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Oh, thank you for being our guest tonight. I want to give both of you ladies an opportunity to have a few final words. Wow. Sharon, you have an awesome production that's coming out in February.
Yes.
Go ahead and tell us a little bit about that.
Actually, yes. So actually the February issue is out of the magazine. I'm so excited for that. And I want to thank you, Dr. Adams, for bringing this platform into the magazine, the Black Woman's Renaissance column.
Yes.
So excited for that.
Yes,
just dynamic. And I just feel like our connection has been a divine connection.
Yes.
So I appreciate everything, that we're going to do for each other as we move. And so just go on to vmpmagazine.com. Just really excited about all the wonderful things that are coming out. So thank you for the space for that.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. And you told me a couple days ago to build your tribe, and
Yes.
you and Crystal are part of my tribe.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Crystal, give us a few final words.
Well, I know being on this panel with two doctors, I know my next goal and aspiration.
Come on and join us.
So we could just be a row of doctors. I would like to that.
Yes, join the 1%ers.
Yes, I'm gonna have to add that to my future list. So I just leave, as I continue to grow, connect with me, social media. As mentioned briefly earlier, I am new into the real estate world and industry. And my main reason for getting into real estate was because I really want to concentrate on building wealth management for people of color, and not only just financially, but instilling them with the reality that ownership can be yours and is so possible. And I want to help you unlock the door to your next home. So let me, connect with me so I can help you do that. And I've come from, we've been saying, single child growing up, low income to no income, first time generation college graduate. And I was fortunate enough to own my own home at the age of 30 years ago. So I want to help bad credit, no credit. Let's get it happening. Let's build this wealth management. We need to, as a people, we need to start owning the block.
Start owning the block. Don't just sell on it. Own it.
That's right. I love it. I love it.
That's right. And I want to help you do that.
How do they reach you, Crystal?
I'm sorry?
How would they reach you?
So you can reach me on Facebook. I am Crystal Kelly, just my name. Instagram, I am Crystal Kelly. And you can also reach me via my website, iamcrystalkelly.com.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much. And while we're giving a shout out, I want to point out the fabulous portrait behind me is my latest commissioned work. And I completed this work over the holidays with COVID. But this is one of my, this is my most recent work.
Awesome.
It's absolutely beautiful.
Beautiful.
So, of course, that is another one of my talents. If you want to reach me, definitely reach out to VsArtsPassion.com. Well, I have 3 takeaways from today's fabulous show. First of all, like Crystal said, do something. Don't just have a dream. A dream is just that until you get up and you go from 0 to 100 and you learn along the way. You fall down and you get right back up, but do something. And make sure that doing something isn't for you. It's for the betterment of everybody else around you. Number 2, build a legacy of success in the generation that you bring along. No longer should we struggle. No longer should we live in a legacy of struggle. We need to live victoriously and live in a legacy and build a legacy of success for those who come behind you. Please join me in thanking our wonderful guest, our Black woman of Renaissance, Miss Crystal Kelly, for being the absolute fabulous woman that we feature, the type of woman we feature on this show. Once again, thank you, Crystal, for being our guest.
Yeah.
You're welcome. And I would like to always thank my co-host, the fabulous, the dynamic, the talented Dr. Sharon Porter. Thank you again, Sharon.
Thank you, Dr. Adams.
Now, we are a new show, And I always want to remind you to join us. Subscribe to the show Black Woman's Renaissance on Facebook, as well as Black Woman's Renaissance on LinkedIn. And now we have our own YouTube channel, Black Woman's Renaissance. Please subscribe. You can watch our videos on YouTube, but you can also listen to our podcast on Spotify, as well as Anchor and any place where you receive your podcast. It's our Renaissance, ladies. We are marching boldly in our purpose. March on, sisters.